You will not believe what happened that evening. You think simple kindness is small until you see its power. You are about to witness one moment that changed everything forever. The charity gala started with bright lights and warm music. Sandra walked inside with a calm smile and gentle confidence. She wanted to support children who needed medical help. The event meant a lot because she once received similar support. She carried quiet gratitude in her heart while entering the hall. The place was decorated with soft golden curtains and white roses. Volunteers moved around with purpose and silent dedication. Journalists stood near the stairs waiting for interviews. Everyone looked excited but slightly overwhelmed by long lines. Sandra adjusted her simple silver bracelet and exhaled slowly. She disliked attention but respected the reason behind the event. She came to help, not to shine under heavy lights. Keanu arrived minutes later with a gentle nod toward everyone. He wore a comfortable black suit that matched his calm energy. He carried a small notebook containing names of children he supported. He believed remembering every name showed real respect and love. He moved with slow steps to avoid disturbing anyone near him. Both walked separately because they did not plan a joint appearance. Yet destiny had already prepared something unusual for them. They noticed each other accidentally while crossing the main hallway. Their eyes met for a brief second, filled with soft recognition. They shared a polite smile because both respected peaceful kindness. Sandra moved toward the registration desk with steady confidence. But a sudden crowd started forming near the entrance behind her. Influencers and reporters rushed in for last-minute coverage. Flashes burst quickly and unexpected voices filled the entire hall. The noise grew louder until it echoed around her ears. Sandra froze for a moment, feeling surrounded from all sides. She hated chaos because it reminded her of an old accident. Years ago, she was trapped in a crowd during a film event. That memory stayed with her like a shadow she never loved. She always stayed calm, but sudden noise still shook her inside. The crowd pushed closer without noticing her quiet panic rising. Shoulders brushed against her arms and camera bags hit her dress. She tried stepping aside, but people kept blocking her path. She whispered a soft "excuse me," but nobody heard her voice. Her chest tightened slowly as her breath became shorter than usual. Keanu noticed her struggle from across the hall instantly. He watched her eyes shake slightly while she tried to move. His instincts reacted because kindness was natural for him. He walked toward her with steady steps and grounded presence. He moved like someone protecting space without using any force. Sandra looked up at him with relief mixing into her fear. She tried smiling, but her hands trembled near her bracelet. He gave her one gentle nod, meaning, "I am here, don't worry." His calm expression softened the overwhelming noise around them. Keanu raised one hand politely toward the crowd. He spoke with a soft, calm tone that surprised everyone. "Please give her some space, she is trying to get through." His voice carried respect, not command, yet people listened immediately. The crowd naturally moved aside because they felt his sincerity. Sandra exhaled deeply as a small, clear path opened before her. She placed one hand on her chest, trying to steady her breath. Keanu stepped beside her, maintaining a respectful distance always. He guided her through the crowd without touching her once. His presence worked like a shield built from empathy, not strength. She whispered a soft "thank you" while keeping her voice low. He replied with a gentle "you are safe, take your time." They walked together until the noise behind them slowly faded. The calm area near the balcony gave her space to breathe. Golden sunset light touched her face and eased her heartbeat. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting peace return slowly. Keanu stood nearby, watching quietly without staring at her. He respected silence because healing often needed quiet space. Sandra lifted her head and smiled with genuine gratitude now. Her voice steadied as she whispered, "You helped more than you know." Keanu shook his head softly as humility filled his expression. He said anyone would help if they noticed someone struggling. Sandra replied, "No, not everyone notices. Kindness needs awareness." He looked at her thoughtfully, understanding the meaning behind her words. They talked about the event purpose and their shared motivation. Both wanted to use their time for real impact, not spotlight. Their conversation felt easy and natural, like old friends reconnecting. Neither expected the evening to bring deeper challenges ahead. A loud announcement echoed across the hall, calling everyone inside. The main ceremony was about to begin with urgent energy. Keanu and Sandra walked inside, still talking quietly together. Their steps matched like two people aligned by gentle fate. Neither felt aware of watching eyes following their movements carefully. Two event organizers whispered to each other near the stage. They held worried faces while checking a tablet nervously. A sudden emergency had appeared in the list of donated items. Something seemed missing, and its value was extremely important. Only a handful of people knew what the missing item represented. Sandra and Keanu remained unaware of the growing tension building. They took their seats in the second row near the aisle. Sandra adjusted her dress and felt calmer now. Keanu kept glancing around, making sure the crowd stayed gentle. Both waited for the ceremony to start with hopeful hearts. But just as the lights dimmed, something unexpected happened. A small, frightened child rushed inside the hall, crying softly. The hall fell silent as everyone turned toward the child. The little girl clutched a worn stuffed rabbit against her chest. Her red eyes showed she had been searching for someone important. She walked straight toward Sandra without hesitation or fear. The child grabbed Sandra's hand tightly, like she trusted her deeply. Sandra looked confused but immediately held the little hand gently. Everyone stared at them, wondering what was happening suddenly. Keanu leaned forward, listening for any clue from the trembling child. The girl whispered in a broken voice, "My mother is missing." The hall filled with quiet shock as her words spread softly. Keanu leaned closer and asked, "Where did you see her last?" The child pointed toward the side hallway near the storage area. Sandra squeezed the child's hand, promising, "We will help find her." Everyone watched them with concern and rising confusion. The ceremony paused as whispers filled the corners of the room. Keanu stood up and Sandra followed, holding the child's hand. They moved quickly toward the hallway with determined steps. Their calm evening had suddenly turned into an urgent mission. None of them knew this moment would change everything tonight. None of them knew the missing mother was connected to the event. None of them knew a secret was waiting in the dark hallway. A secret that would bind Sandra and Keanu together deeply. Their footsteps echoed slowly as they entered the dim corridor. Sandra whispered, "Stay close, sweetheart, we are right here." Keanu scanned around with careful eyes, prepared for anything. The little girl pointed toward a closed door near the corner. Her voice trembled as she whispered she went inside and never returned. Keanu reached for the door with calm, controlled breathing. Sandra held the girl tightly, hoping to find answers inside. The door made a slow, deep sound as it opened slightly. Darkness filled the room, but something strange glowed faintly. Keanu stepped forward, trying to understand what he was seeing. And then Sandra gasped loudly as she saw something shocking. The faint glow inside the room flickered like a trapped heartbeat. Keanu stepped forward with slow, careful movements, showing silent caution. Sandra held the little girl close while her own hands trembled. The air felt heavy, as if holding a story no one expected. The corridor behind them grew quieter until their breaths became the only sound. Keanu switched on the small flashlight from his pocket. Its beam cut through darkness, revealing scattered papers on the floor. A broken chair leaned against the far wall like something pushed it hard. A purse lay open near the door with belongings spilled across the tiles. Sandra knelt beside it, gently examining each item with protective attention. The little girl whispered, "That is my mother's purse." Her voice cracked as fear tightened her small shoulders. Sandra hugged her softly, whispering, "You are safe with us now." Keanu kept scanning the room, trying to understand the strange glow. The light came from a small metal box placed in the corner. The box looked old but handled with extreme care and precision. Its sides carried engraved symbols that seemed unfamiliar to them. A small card rested beside it, containing the mother's name written clearly. Sandra read the name softly, feeling a strange chill inside her chest. The mother had volunteered for high-value donations earlier that day. Keanu crouched near the box without touching it yet. The glow pulsed softly like it responded to movement around it. "This is not ordinary," he whispered in a steady, calm voice. Sandra nodded because she felt something deeper behind this moment. The child stood silently watching the box with wide, frightened eyes. Sandra asked the girl, "Did your mother mention anything unusual today?" She nodded slowly, saying, "She told me she carried something precious. She said it would help children and she must protect it carefully." Keanu exchanged a quick look with Sandra, sensing a bigger truth. They understood this mother played a vital role tonight. Suddenly, a soft metallic sound echoed from the far corner. Both adults turned quickly while shielding the child behind them. Keanu moved first with instinctive protective awareness in his steps. Sandra held the girl, firmly keeping her close and comforted. The sound came from a small door leading to the storage basement. Keanu whispered, "Stay behind me," and slowly pushed the door open. The stairs leading down were dim and smelled of old wood. A faint rustling sound echoed from below, like someone struggling quietly. Sandra felt her heartbeat speed up with every passing second. The little girl clutched Sandra's dress and whispered, "Is she there?" They stepped down carefully as Keanu led the way. Each step creaked softly, adding tension to the silent basement. Sandra noticed marks on the wall, like someone brushed past quickly. The basement floor looked recently disturbed, with footprints half erased. The air grew colder, making Sandra hug the child even tighter. In the center of the basement, they found scattered pamphlets. They showed information about the charity event and sensitive donations. Some papers had red marks on them, as if someone corrected details. Keanu picked up one paper with a serious, focused expression. It listed items expected for a special medical research project. Then Sandra gasped, softly pointing toward a nearby shelf. A scarf hung from the edge with a familiar floral pattern. The little girl whispered, "That is my mother's scarf." Her voice shook with a mixture of hope and fear. Sandra placed her hand gently on the child's head, whispering, "We are close." A faint cry echoed from the far end of the basement. The sound was soft but filled with pain and exhaustion. Keanu and Sandra exchanged a tense, determined look instantly. They followed the sound with careful steps and steady breathing. Behind a large storage crate, they saw a shadow move weakly. Keanu walked around the crate and froze for a moment. Sandra followed quickly, holding the girl close against her side. There on the cold floor lay the missing mother, half conscious. Her breathing was heavy and her hands clutched her stomach tightly. Sandra rushed forward, kneeling beside her with gentle urgency. The mother whispered, "Please take the box to the director." Her eyes filled with both fear and determination that felt unshakable. Sandra asked, "What happened? Who did this to you?" The mother shook her head slowly, saying, "Someone tried stealing the box. They wanted to stop the donation because it protects many children." Keanu leaned forward, speaking softly, "We will protect you now. Give me the details so we can help properly." The mother pointed toward the stairs with trembling fingers. She whispered, "He is still here somewhere. Please be careful." Her voice carried deep fear that made Sandra hold her tighter. Keanu stood up, scanning every dark corner with sharp attention. He positioned himself between danger and the two vulnerable people. Sandra supported the mother while calming the terrified little girl. The mother whispered again, "Take the box. It cannot fall into wrong hands." Keanu nodded, understanding the importance of the glowing container upstairs. Sandra whispered, "We will take it, but you must stay calm." The mother breathed slowly, trying to remain conscious. The little girl held her mother's fingers, gently whispering, "Please wake up." Tears rolled down her cheeks as she tried staying strong. Sandra hugged her tightly, whispering, "We will fix this together." Keanu reached for his phone to call security for immediate help. But before he could dial, a loud noise exploded upstairs. It sounded like something heavy fell, followed by quick footsteps. Keanu tensed, instantly sensing the danger, returning aggressively. He looked at Sandra and whispered, "Stay with them, do not move." He rushed up the stairs with controlled speed and silent focus. The corridor felt different now, carrying a new, unsettling presence. The room where the glowing box rested was completely open. Papers flew across the floor like someone searched fast and violently. The box, however, still sat in the corner, glowing even brighter. But something else was different, something far more disturbing. A shadow slipped through the side exit just as Keanu arrived. He ran toward the door, but it slammed shut from outside. He tried opening it but found a thick chain newly locked. Someone was still inside the building, working against them. Keanu moved back to the glowing box, kneeling beside it. He touched it lightly and felt its surface warm like living energy. He lifted it carefully, understanding the responsibility now placed on him. The glow pulsed faster, as if reacting to his calm, steady presence. He held it firmly, deciding to protect it until truth emerged clearly. Just then he heard Sandra calling his name from downstairs. Her voice carried urgency mixed with sudden fear. He ran back, quickly gripping the box tightly against his chest. When he reached the basement entrance, he saw Sandra's worried face. She pointed toward the far end of the basement with shaking hands. The mother was no longer lying on the floor. Her scarf remained, but the woman herself had disappeared. The child cried loudly, calling for her mother again. Sandra whispered, "She was here 1 minute ago, now she is gone." Keanu's heart pounded as he realized the situation had grown worse. Someone had taken the mother quietly while they investigated upstairs. Someone moved through shadows without leaving any clear trace. Someone wanted the box and the mother for a reason still hidden. Keanu looked at Sandra with fierce determination and protective energy. He whispered, "We are not letting this end badly, I promise." But then a soft vibration came from the box in Keanu's hands. The glow brightened until the symbols lit up like tiny stars. Sandra stepped backward, holding the frightened girl close again. The mother had said the box could protect children everywhere. Yet no one understood what power it truly carried inside. Keanu whispered, "This is bigger than we imagined, Sandra." She nodded slowly, with fear and hope mixing inside her heart. The child cried into Sandra's dress, begging, "Please find my mom." Sandra hugged her, whispering, "We will not stop until we do." Keanu tightened his grip on the box, preparing for what came next. Little did they know someone was already watching them from above. A figure stood hidden behind the upper railing with silent footsteps. The figure whispered a soft sentence, "They are getting too close." Then the figure vanished into the corridors before they could be seen. The hidden figure moved like smoke through the silent corridors. Neither Sandra nor Keanu noticed the quiet footsteps above them. The basement felt colder now, as if holding a deeper secret. The little girl held Sandra's hand tightly, refusing to let go. Keanu placed the glowing box carefully on a wooden table. The symbols on the box shimmered like tiny soft embers. The warm light filled the room with a strange, gentle energy. Sandra stepped closer, studying the patterns with careful attention. She whispered, "This feels like something made for protection." Keanu nodded slowly, sensing the same powerful intention inside the box. They needed answers, and they needed them fast. The mother was missing again, and time was slipping quickly. Keanu called security, but his signal dropped inside the basement. The walls felt thick, like they blocked communication completely. He clenched his jaw, knowing they had to rely on themselves now. Sandra comforted the trembling child with soft, steady words. "You are brave, sweetheart, and we will find your mother." The child nodded, but tears kept falling silently down her cheeks. She whispered, "She said this night would be important for many." Sandra exchanged a confused look with Keanu, processing those words. Keanu asked the girl, "What else did she tell you earlier?" She sniffed and whispered, "She said people don't like what she carries. She said she must deliver it safely before something bad happens." Sandra squeezed her hand, softly whispering, "You did so well." The child leaned into her warmth, feeling safer with every breath. A sudden clicking sound echoed from the upper hallway. Keanu stepped toward the stairs, instantly alert again. His voice remained calm but firm. "Stay behind me, both of you." Sandra nodded, pulling the girl close as she stepped back. Keanu climbed the stairs slowly, with every sense watching closely. The hallway lights flickered, creating long moving shadows. The air felt different, like someone recently passed through quickly. He checked each door, scanning for movement or hidden danger. Every room remained open and strangely untouched, like silent witnesses. He heard Sandra calling softly from below, asking, "Is it safe?" Before he could reply, a loud crash came from the entrance. Sandra hugged the girl tighter as fear rose inside her again. Keanu rushed back downstairs, instinctively protecting both of them. The girl cried softly, saying, "Please, don't let him take her again." Sandra kissed her forehead, whispering, "You are safe with us now." Keanu grabbed a metal rod lying near the broken crates. He did not plan to fight, but he wanted to stay prepared. His protective instinct felt stronger now more than ever before. They approached the corridor together, moving with quiet, steady steps. The glowing box remained behind them, pulsing like a hidden heartbeat. When they reached the main hallway, everything looked untouched again. But something felt wrong, something deeply unsettling in the silence. Sandra pointed toward the front entrance with slow, shaking hands. The doors were still locked from inside, just as before. No one could enter or leave without breaking those heavy chains. Keanu walked toward the lobby, hoping to find someone helpful. The security desk chair stood empty, with the monitor still on. Hallway cameras showed static on every channel without exception. Keanu frowned, knowing someone disabled the system intentionally. Sandra stepped beside him, whispering, "This is bigger than a theft." The little girl tugged Sandra's sleeve, pointing toward the balcony. "I saw someone there," she whispered with trembling voice. "He was watching us when you went upstairs earlier." Sandra looked at Keanu with wide, worried eyes. They walked upstairs toward the balcony, carefully following the child's memory. As they reached the balcony, they noticed something strange. A piece of fabric hung from the railing, torn on one side. The fabric carried the same pattern as the mother's scarf. Sandra picked it up, feeling a chill through her fingers. Keanu scanned the area, noticing a trail of faint footprints. The footprints led toward a closed, decorative door near the corner. It looked like part of the design, but actually was functional. Keanu pushed it open, revealing a narrow staircase going upward. The air inside the stairway felt warmer and filled with dust. Sandra whispered, "This place looks unused for many years." Yet the footprints continued upward, showing recent movement. Keena's expression turned sharp and focused once again. The little girl whispered, "She must be up there, please hurry." Sandra held her close, whispering, "We will bring her back safely." Keanu climbed first, wanting to check for danger before allowing them. The staircase twisted twice before opening into an attic. Old decorations and broken furniture lay scattered everywhere. Sunlight peeked through tiny gaps, creating stripes across the floor. Sandra and the girl followed, carefully staying close to Keanu. The atmosphere felt heavy, like it guarded an important truth. They moved deeper until Keanu froze, suddenly raising his hand. Sandra stopped immediately, pulling the girl behind a wooden shelf. Keanu pointed toward the far left corner where something moved. A shadow leaned over a figure lying on the ground. Sandra gasped softly, recognizing the shape of the missing mother. The man kneeling beside her stood up, instantly sensing their presence. His face remained hidden behind the attic shadows. His voice spoke calmly but carried disturbing coldness. "You should not have come here. This is not for you." Keanu stepped forward, slightly shielding Sandra and the child. Keanu said, "We are here for her, and the child deserves truth." The man walked closer, revealing a badge around his neck. It showed he was part of the research team for the charity. Sandra whispered, "You were supposed to help, not scare families." His eyes narrowed, slowly showing a conflict inside him. He said, "The box contains a rare formula for emergency treatment. It could change lives, but it can also be misused easily. Some people want to sell it for money instead of helping children." I was trying to protect it from falling into wrong hands. His tone carried truth, but something still felt deeply hidden. Keanu asked then, why did the mother end up hurt downstairs? Why did she vanish while we helped the child and you watched? The man's eyes drifted toward the mother lying weakly nearby. She trusted the wrong person earlier and got attacked suddenly. I found her and carried her here before anyone else noticed. Sandra knelt beside the mother, checking her breathing again. The little girl cried and hugged her mother's weak hand tightly. The mother opened her eyes slowly, whispering, I tried saving it. She looked at the man with a mixture of trust and fear. She whispered, you know they will come back for the formula. The attic shook slightly as a heavy thud echoed downstairs. Keanu tensed, immediately recognizing danger approaching quickly. Another loud sound followed, like doors breaking open violently. The man whispered, they are here already, we must hide now. But Sandra saw something behind him that froze her completely. A pair of dark gloves reached through the attic window quietly. Someone unknown was already crawling inside without making noise. Keanu stepped forward, but it was already too late. The intruder landed silently and pointed straight at the glowing box. The same box Keanu had left downstairs moments earlier. The intruder whispered one chilling sentence. You brought exactly what we needed. The intruder's footsteps were silent, but his presence felt heavy. Sandra pulled the little girl behind her with protective instinct. Keanu stepped forward, slowly placing himself between danger and everyone. The attic air thickens, like every breath carried hidden warning. The intruder kept moving closer with eyes locked on Keanu's hands. But Keanu was not holding the box anymore. The intruder looked confused for a split second, searching around. His voice came out low and sharp, where is the container? Keanu stayed silent, refusing to reveal anything too quickly. The man from the research team stepped back, shaking nervously. Sandra noticed the mother trying to sit up with difficulty. The child knelt beside her, whispering, Mommy, please stay awake. The mother touched her daughter's cheek with trembling fingers. She stared at the intruder with fear filling her weak voice. She whispered, he worked with the one who attacked me earlier. The intruder smiled slightly, as if enjoying their fear. He said, the formula belongs to our group, not this event. You people don't understand how valuable it is outside charity. Sandra felt anger rise but controlled her voice carefully. She said, children need this treatment, not greedy hands. The intruder ignored her completely and focused on Keanu. He stepped closer with slow, confident movements that felt dangerous. Keanu lifted his chin, maintaining calm strength without raising his voice. You will not touch anyone here, he said with steady firmness. The intruder laughed softly, like he found Keanu amusing. Just then, a second noise came from the attic window. Another shadow appeared outside, trying to climb inside quickly. Keanu tensed instantly, understanding the situation had worsened. Sandra held the girl tightly, whispering, stay with me, sweetheart. The mother tried breathing slowly, but fear weakened her further. The research team man whispered, we need to hide now. Keanu asked calmly, where is the box? Answer me now. The man pointed toward a large antique trunk near the wall. I hid it when I heard footsteps approaching earlier, he said. Keanu ran to the trunk and lifted the lid carefully. The glowing box lay inside, pulsing with steady warm light. Keanu grabbed it firmly, understanding its life-saving purpose. The intruder lunged forward, trying to reach the trunk instantly. But Keanu closed the lid and moved backward with strong focus. The intruder cursed loudly and stepped toward him aggressively. The second intruder climbed inside at the same moment. 2 against 1 made the situation dangerously unbalanced. Sandra whispered, Keanu, be careful please, don't let them corner you. The little girl cried softly, fearing her mother would be taken again. Keanu positioned himself carefully, protecting both sides of the attic. The first intruder said, give us the box and no one suffers. Keanu replied with a steady, fearless voice, no child will suffer today. His calmness angered the intruders, who advanced quickly. The research team man shouted, they want the formula, not people. But the intruders ignored him, ready to overpower Keanu by force. Sandra looked around for something to help Keanu. She spotted a long wooden pole leaning against an old dresser. She grabbed it with surprising strength, driven by pure courage. Her hands trembled, but her resolve stayed firm and brave. She whispered to the girl, "Stay behind the shelf, don't move." The girl hid behind boxes, holding her stuffed rabbit tightly. She watched with wide, terrified eyes as Sandra stepped forward. The intruders glanced at Sandra but focused on Keanu again. They did not expect her to act just at that moment. Sandra swung the pole, sharply hitting the second intruder's arm. The intruder staggered back with surprise and sudden pain. Keanu used that opening to push the first intruder away. The attic filled with chaos as they all moved quickly. Dust rose from old boxes and wooden shelves shook violently. The mother tried calling her child, but her voice faded weakly. Sandra shouted, "Keanu, they are trying to corner you again." Keanu dodged a hit and moved closer to the glowing box. The intruders regrouped, ready to strike both of them together. The research man whispered, "They will not stop until they win." His fear made Sandra realize something important suddenly. She whispered, "Tell us who leads them right now." He looked terrified but answered one chilling truth. Someone inside the charity planned everything tonight from start. Sandra felt her stomach drop as the truth sank slowly. Someone trusted by everyone was helping these intruders quietly. Keanu heard that and froze for a moment. The intruders smirked because the confession revealed too much. The first intruder said, "You were not supposed to know this now." He lifted a heavy metal pipe, ready to strike Keanu hard. Sandra screamed his name with fear breaking her steady voice. But before the intruder could swing the pipe, something unexpected happened. The glowing box in Keena's hand pulsed brighter than before. The symbols lit up like burning stars across the entire surface. The intruders stepped back, shielding their eyes from the sudden light. Even Sandra and the girl gasped at the overwhelming radiance. The mother whispered, "That is the activation response." Her voice trembled with equal fear and hope. The research man stared at the box with wide, shocked eyes. He whispered, "Only the rightful protector can trigger that reaction." Sandra looked at Keanu with disbelief filling her chest. The intruders realized the box had chosen its bearer. Their expressions shifted from confidence to pure desperation. The first intruder growled, "Give it to us now or she suffers." He pointed toward the little girl hiding behind boxes. Sandra's heart dropped as she rushed toward the child instantly. Keanu stepped in front of the intruders, holding the box tightly. The glowing light wrapped around his hands like soft golden fire. The intruders took slow steps back, unable to handle the brightness. They exchanged quick, panicked glances and moved toward the window. They climbed out, swiftly disappearing into the night without hesitation. Keanu lowered the box slowly as the light dimmed again. Sandra hugged the child tightly, whispering, "You are safe now, sweetheart." The mother collapsed back against the crate, breathing heavily. The research man kept whispering, "The box chose him, the box chose him." Keanu looked at Sandra, confused by everything that had happened. Before any of them could speak, a loud alarm echoed suddenly. It came from downstairs, vibrating through the entire building. The emergency system triggered itself without anyone touching it. Red lights flashed inside the attic, filling the space with urgency. The mother opened her eyes wide and whispered one final sentence. "They locked the building from outside. No one is getting out tonight." The alarm echoed through every corner like a rising storm. Red lights flashed wildly, turning the attic into a warning zone. The little girl covered her ears while trembling against Sandra's chest. Sandra held her tightly, whispering calm, steady words of comfort. Keanu looked around, searching for exits or hidden danger. The research man stepped back, staring at the alarm in confusion. He whispered, "They sealed the building to stop us from leaving." Sandra asked, "Who sealed it? Why are they doing this now?" He swallowed hard before answering, "Someone inside wants the formula controlled. Someone powerful enough to command both intruders and security." The mother tried sitting up, but her strength faded quickly. Keanu knelt beside her, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You will be all right," he whispered with deep, steady calmness. She nodded slowly, but pain still shadowed her face. She whispered, "Please protect my daughter, that is all that matters." Sandra held the child even tighter at those trembling words. The girl cried softly, begging her mother not to close her eyes. Keanu looked toward the glowing box, still warm in his hands. The light pulsed softly, like it understood the urgency around them. The mother looked at it with a mixture of relief and fear. She whispered, "The formula inside can rebuild damaged blood quickly. It can save children during critical emergencies within minutes. But if stolen, it can be sold for terrible purposes worldwide." The research man nodded, confirming every word without hesitation. He whispered people would pay millions for a copy of this. Keanu stood up, holding the box firmly against his chest. His eyes scanned every corner with protective intensity. Sandra said, "We need to get downstairs and find another exit." The research man pointed toward a narrow ventilation ladder. "This leads to the second floor through an old maintenance shaft." A loud noise shook the attic floor, like something hit below. The little girl screamed and clung to Sandra even harder. Keanu whispered, "Stay close behind me," and moved toward the ladder. The research man climbed first to check if the path was clear. Sandra followed, carrying the frightened child in her arms. The mother tried standing but collapsed again with a painful gasp. Keanu rushed back instantly to support her carefully. She whispered, "Please leave me here, save my daughter first." Keanu shook his head, firmly refusing her request. He lifted her gently and carried her toward the ladder. The narrow shaft smelled like dust and old metal. Each step echoed as they climbed upward slowly. The girl cried softly into Sandra's shoulder, whispering, "Mommy, don't fall." Sandra kissed her head, whispering, "We are right here, sweetheart." Keanu climbed behind them, keeping the mother secure in his arms. When they reached the small service room, everything felt quieter. The alarm still blared, but footsteps sounded distant now. The research man locked the door behind them quickly. He whispered, "They will search every floor soon, we must hurry." Keanu laid the mother on a small bench, letting her breathe. The little girl held her mother's hand tightly, refusing to let go. Sandra stroked the child's hair, whispering, "You are so brave, darling." The mother smiled weakly, appreciating Sandra's comforting kindness. Keanu checked his phone but found no signal at all. The system jammed all communication like a controlled blackout. Sandra asked the research man, "Is there any way out left?" He nodded slowly, pointing toward a glass emergency stairwell. "If we reach that door, we can exit to the courtyard. But the courtyard locks from the inside only during emergencies. Which means someone intentionally triggered the alarm to trap them." They moved through the hallway cautiously, avoiding every open window. The building felt different now, filled with hidden threats. Shadows stretched across the carpet like silent warnings. Keanu walked first, shielding everyone with calm determination. Sandra followed, holding the girl close while supporting the mother. As they approached the emergency stairwell, a deep voice echoed. "So you finally decided to move the box yourself?" Keanu turned sharply, recognizing the voice immediately. The director of the charity stepped out from behind a pillar. His expression carried a chilling combination of guilt and pride. The research man froze with shock and fear. He whispered under his breath, "I trusted you with everything." The director smirked, like betrayal meant nothing to him. He said, "This formula is worth more than the entire building. These children will survive without it, but I will not lose millions." Sandra felt anger rise through her chest like fire. Her voice shook but stayed steady and strong. "Children are suffering and you want money," she said. The director shrugged calmly, as if her words meant nothing. The little girl hid behind Sandra's leg, trembling even harder. Keanu stepped forward, placing himself between everyone and the director. "Give us space," he said with firm, unshakable control. The director raised his hand, and security guards appeared instantly. They surrounded the hallway, blocking every possible escape. Their expressions showed they followed orders without understanding truth. The director said, "Hand me the box and walk away freely. You will be treated as guests, not intruders tonight." Keanu held the box tighter, feeling its warmth intensify. He said, "No child will be hurt because of your greed." The director sighed like he anticipated that response already. He snapped his fingers and guards moved toward Sandra first. Sandra stepped back, protecting the girl with her whole body. The mother tried raising her hand despite her weakness. Keanu shifted, instantly blocking the guards with his stance. His eyes reflected pure protective fire, refusing to move. The director glared and signaled the guards to advance. But before they reached Keanu, something unbelievable happened. The glowing box brightened again, pulsing with fierce golden light. The symbols shone like small suns burning across the surface. Everyone stepped back, shielding their eyes from the overwhelming brightness. The mother stared at the box, whispering in total awe. She said, "The formula reacts to danger and loyalty. It protects itself until the right hands restore its purpose." The director cursed loudly, unable to look at the glowing container. His guards hesitated, unsure whether to continue or retreat. Keanu's eyes widened as something changed inside the light. The glow expanded outward, forming a circular golden barrier. It wrapped around Keanu, Sandra, the girl, and the mother. The research man stumbled backward, unable to enter the barrier. The director shouted, "Break through it," but no one could move. The golden barrier grew brighter as the alarm intensified. Keanu felt the box vibrating like something awakening inside. The girl clung to Sandra, crying into her shoulder. Sandra held her tightly, whispering, "We are safe, sweetheart." The mother smiled weakly, realizing something important had begun. The director shouted, "This ends now," and raised his hand quickly. Before his guards could take another step, the building shook. A loud cracking sound echoed from the floor below them. The golden light flickered like it sensed something approaching. The research man shouted, "The system is overloading, run now." Keanu looked at Sandra with urgency in his eyes. "We need to move before the barrier collapses," he said. The mother nodded but struggled to lift herself up. Keanu reached for her hand and pulled her onto her feet. The little girl tightened her grip around Sandra's arm. A second cracking sound shook the entire hallway dangerously. The golden barrier dimmed slightly like it was struggling. Sandra whispered, "They are forcing the system to break down." Keanu grabbed the mother's arm and signaled everyone to run. The director screamed, "Stop them," but the golden barrier blocked him. They moved down the hallway as fast as they could. The girl cried, but Sandra carried her with unshakable strength. The mother limped forward, supported by Keanu's steady arm. Lights flickered above them like the building was losing power. The glowing box pulsed again, guiding them through the chaos. They reached the emergency stairwell door at last. Keanu pushed the handle, but it refused to open. Sandra stepped forward and added her strength beside him. The mother leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. The girl whispered softly, "Please open, please open, please open." A sudden blinding flash burst from the box in Keena's hands. The emergency door clicked loudly, unlocking itself instantly. Keanu pulled it open, and everyone rushed inside quickly. But before Sandra could close the door behind them, something horrifying happened. An arm grabbed the little girl's wrist from behind. A masked intruder had followed them silently. The girl's scream echoed through the stairwell like a knife of fear. The masked intruder's grip tightened around the little girl's wrist. Her terrified scream echoed through the stairwell like breaking glass. Sandra spun around, instantly pulling the child back with fierce strength. Keanu lunged forward without hesitation, grabbing the intruder's arm. The mother cried out weakly, unable to move fast enough. The intruder tried, dragging the girl back into the hallway. Keanu tightened his grip until the man lost balance completely. Sandra wrapped her arms around the child, pulling her into safety. The girl buried her face in Sandra's shoulder, trembling uncontrollably. Keanu forced the intruder against the wall with controlled strength. The man growled angrily, trying to break free from Keanu. But Keena's calm determination became stronger than brute force. He whispered firmly, "You will not hurt her again, understand?" The intruder froze, sensing he could not overpower him anymore. Keanu pushed him backward as the golden box pulsed harder. The glowing box released a single bright flash of light. The intruder shielded his eyes and stumbled to the ground. The mother whispered, "The formula reacts to danger around children." The research man ran toward them, shouting, "The director is coming." They had only seconds before everything collapsed into chaos. Keanu pulled the stairwell door shut, blocking access behind them. The group hurried down the stairs as alarms blared loudly above. The little girl clung to Sandra's neck, refusing to let go. Sandra kissed her cheek, whispering, "You are safe, I promise." The mother breathed heavily but pushed herself forward with determination. They reached the courtyard door at the bottom level. Keanu pushed the handle, but it resisted again stubbornly. This time the golden box glowed with deeper warm light. The symbols expanded across its surface like shining roots. A soft chime echoed as the courtyard lock clicked open. They rushed outside, breathing in cool night air with relief. The courtyard lights flickered but remained stable enough to move. The mother collapsed onto a bench, whispering, "Thank you," repeatedly. The little girl hugged her mother tightly, sobbing uncontrollably. Sandra knelt beside them, stroking the girl's hair gently. Keanu looked up and saw the director running toward the exit. 5 guards followed him with frantic footsteps and angry shouts. Keanu lifted the box as it glowed fiercely like a warning. The guards slowed down, noticing the overwhelming golden light. The director yelled, "Stop them, the formula is mine." Sandra stood up, holding the child protectively behind her. Her eyes burned with quiet anger and unshakable courage. She said, "Your greed almost destroyed a family tonight." The director opened his mouth to argue but froze suddenly. Police sirens echoed from outside the courtyard gates. The research man stepped forward, raising his hands. He shouted to the arriving officers they attacked volunteers. They tried stealing medical formula meant for injured children. The officers stormed through the gates, ready for immediate action. The director tried to run, but guards blocked his escape. The officers handcuffed the director and both intruders quickly. The mother watched through tears, feeling deep gratitude and exhaustion. The girl hugged her again, whispering, "You are safe, Mommy." Keanu handed the glowing box to the head officer. "Please protect this," he said. "It was almost stolen tonight." The officer nodded with respect, understanding the box's importance. Sandra supported the mother while whispering reassuring, gentle words. "You're safe now," she said softly. "You fought so hard." The mother smiled weakly with tears in her tired eyes. "Thank you both for saving my daughter," she whispered. The little girl walked to Keanu and hugged his leg tightly. Her tiny voice trembled as she whispered, "Thank you for saving us." Keanu knelt down so she could hug him fully with comfort. He stroked her hair, gently saying, "You are very brave, sweetheart." Sandra's eyes softened, watching the emotional moment unfold. Paramedics arrived and gently helped the mother onto a stretcher. The girl refused to leave until Sandra held her hand. Sandra walked beside her, whispering, "I will not leave you alone." Keanu followed them slowly, keeping watch until she was safe. The glowing box dimmed gradually, sensing the danger had passed. The courtyard became quiet as officers completed their reports. The research man approached Keanu with guilt in his expression. He whispered, "I never knew the director planned such things." Keanu placed a hand on his shoulder with gentle reassurance. "It ends tonight," he said. "Focus on protecting children tomorrow." Sandra returned after helping the mother into the ambulance. She stood beside Keanu with a warm, tired smile. "You handled everything so calmly," she whispered with admiration. Keanu smiled softly, replying, "You held the family together tonight." Their shared gratitude filled the quiet space between them. The ambulance lights flashed as it prepared to leave. The little girl waved through the window, still clutching her rabbit. Sandra waved back, sending silent strength through her smile. Keanu placed his hands in his pockets, breathing deeply. Tonight had changed both of them in unexpected ways. As the ambulance drove away, Sandra looked at Keanu gently. She whispered, "You cleared her path tonight just like you cleared mine." Keanu looked at her with soft, sincere eyes. He replied, "Sometimes kindness is stronger than anything else." Their hearts felt lighter knowing they protected something sacred. The glowing box was placed into secure custody for research. Its purpose would now reach children who needed urgent help. Its light had chosen the right people to protect it tonight. Keanu and Sandra walked toward the exit side by side. The stars above felt brighter, reflecting the hope they restored. Sandra whispered quietly, "I think tonight changed many lives." Keanu nodded slowly, saying, "And maybe even ours a little." They walked through the open gates, leaving behind the chaos. Their footsteps moved in calm rhythm like two souls aligned. Kindness had guided them, and love had followed softly behind.